going to hunt you down. He's going to find out what's going on. And that's good. That's good for everybody. That's how you should be looking at this. Like, wow, we have a brilliant mind that is examining these really corrupt and goofy systems and bringing in a bunch of psychopath wizards.
Welcome back to AllStarBuzz. Thank you for joining us. Before we start, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to the channel. We are on our way to 10,000 subscribers. Now, let's begin.
Could stop Hitler by any means necessary, wouldn't you stop Hitler? And so they equate Donald Trump with Hitler and go, here you go, this is our modern Hitler. Do you see what Whoopi Goldberg said?
What'd she say?
Whoopi Goldberg said that Biden could arrest all the Republicans and put them in jail. You just need to see how unhinged this kind of thinking is.
All those rights, he is immune from everything.
Yeah.
You know what Joe Biden could do since he is presently president?
What?
Whoa. He could throw every Republican in jail.
It started like wild fury, an unexpected moment on national television that sparked one of the most controversial celebrity clashes of the year. During a heated segment on The View, Whoopi Goldberg, without blinking, looked into the camera and accused tech mogul Elon Musk of conspiring with Senator J.D. Vance to seize control of the U.S. government.
I've been saying it for a while.
Yes, you have.
I've been saying that I think Elon Musk believes he's president. I do.
Well, you've been calling him vice president.
I've called him vice president. I called him president because I don't know what JD is doing. I hardly ever. I don't remember the last time we even talked about JD.
You're right. He's planning the presidency when they get rid of Trump.
So you think it's Musk? Musk Vance?
Possible.
Hey, you know who? Stay away from the stairways. Because, you know, people put the leg out to trip you going down the stairs.
According to her, if Donald Trump were removed from office, Elon and JD were somehow waiting in the wings, plotting their political takeover. She didn't quote any official report. She didn't cite a single source. She just said it. Boldly. Casually.
You're not really making the world a better place.
Right.
You're just allowing these financial institutions to enact control over corporations. And it's a really shifty, weird way they're doing it by making it seem like they're trying to make the world a better, more equal place.
As if it were already a known fact. And that's where everything changed. It wasn't just another celebrity hot take. This wasn't a slip-up or an offhand joke. This was a major public figure on one of America's biggest daytime talk shows, accusing one of the most powerful businessmen in the world of political manipulation, with zero evidence to back it up.
You know, when you're a certain age, you use words that you know from when you were a kid or you remember saying, and that's what I did today, and I shouldn't have. I should have thought about it a little longer before I said it, but I didn't.
The internet lit up. Headlines followed. And soon, what started as a few words on daytime TV became the fuel for a legal and media firestorm that no one saw coming. And Elon Musk? He wasn't staying silent.
Talk to you about. I wanted to play this, but we decided we shouldn't play it. We don't want anybody to have any sort of a way to get it down. The episode of you when you're on The View, when you were running for president.
Right. Donald Trump is a billionaire, a real estate mogul, and a television star. But does he really want to add President of the United States to his resume? A lot of people would like him to.
You got introduced as our friend Donald Trump.
Please, let's find out, and please welcome my friend, Donald Trump.
That's right.
Whoopi Goldberg gives you a big hug and a kiss. Joy Behar gives you a big hug. Barbara Walters gives you a big hug. They all loved you.
We're so happy to have you. Whenever you're on with us, we're very happy.
We love it.
They're talking about you in such a favorable light. The audience was cheering, and then you actually started winning in the polls, and then the machine started working towards you.
Joe Biden knows how to do this.
Trump. Yeah.
He tends to just...
Elon Musk did what very few public figures ever do when facing televised accusation. She hit back hard, and he hit back fast. Within days of Whoopi's on-air comments, Musk's legal team filed a defamation lawsuit. Not a warning, not a letter, an actual lawsuit accusing Whoopi Goldberg of spreading false, damaging claims with the clear intent to harm his reputation and influence public perception. But that wasn't all. The lawsuit detailed how her words allegedly triggered a drop in Tesla's stock and disrupted ongoing business deals. This wasn't about public opinion anymore. It was about legal accountability. Musk's lawsuit demanded more than just a retraction. He was going after financial damages, a full public apology, and a televised correction of her statement. This was a message not just to Whoopi, but to the entire media ecosystem. If you're going to make accusations on national TV, you better be prepared to prove them in court. And as the legal wheels started turning, all eyes turned to Whoopi. Would she double down and fight it? Would she defend her comments with evidence? Or would the courtroom reveal something else entirely? The answer came soon, and it shocked everyone watching. When Whoopi Goldberg stepped into that courtroom, many expected her trademark confidence, maybe even defiance. After all, she's a Hollywood veteran, a longtime host on The View, and no stranger to controversy. But what unfolded next was something no one predicted. The moment the legal gravity of the situation set in, Whoopi broke down publicly and completely. According to reports, she was in tears, apologizing repeatedly, expressing regret, and insisting she never meant to cause harm. Gone was the bold television personality who confidently made those claims on air. In her place stood someone overwhelmed by the consequences of her words. But not everyone bought the performance. Joe Rogan, who has built his career on calling out hypocrisy in media and politics, was quick to react. On a recent episode of The Joe Rogan Experience, he didn't hold back. He criticized the courtroom breakdown as too little, too late, and made it clear this wasn't about sympathy, it was about responsibility. Rogan wasn't swayed by the tears. He saw it for what he believed it was, an attempt to escape accountability after playing with fire on national television. And if you think that's harsh, just wait. Rogan wasn't done, not even close. Rogan took the gloves off. In front of millions of listeners, he tore into Whoopi Goldberg and The View with unapologetic precision. His message was crystal clear. If you're going to use your platform to launch serious accusations, you'd better come with facts, not feelings. He zeroed in on The View itself, calling it a propaganda machine wrapped in gossip. He pointed out how the show regularly allows unverified, emotionally charged opinions to masquerade as serious political commentary. And in Whoopi's case, that commentary crossed the line into full-blown defamation. According to Rogan, this wasn't just about a mistake or a misstep. It was a pattern of media figures treating their platforms like personal soapboxes, untouchable by the standards of journalism. He made it clear that people like Whoopi don't get a pass just because they're celebrities or because they're on the right side of a particular narrative. He drew a line between free speech and reckless speech. Rogan wasn't attacking her for having an opinion. He was calling her out for spreading serious, damaging claims without a shred of proof and then acting shocked when the consequences came knocking. And he didn't stop there. He had receipts. Joe Rogan dove even deeper, pointing to a long-standing pattern in Whoopi Goldberg's public behavior that, in his eyes, revealed a lack of accountability. He reminded his audience that this wasn't the first time she had made bold statements only to backpedal when the backlash came. Every time she got caught, Rogan said, the excuse was always the same. It was just a joke, or people misunderstood me. But this time, he wasn't buying it. In fact, he laid it out plainly, "Nah, we understood you just fine." Rogan emphasized that these aren't harmless off-the-cuff remarks. When you're sitting at a table on The View, a nationally broadcasted talk show with millions of viewers, your words carry weight. You shape conversations, influence opinions, and when unchecked, you can damage reputations and careers. He warned against a growing trend in media where people hide behind the shield of entertainment to avoid responsibility for serious claims. To Rogan, Whoopi's courtroom tears weren't a moment of sincere remorse. They were a result of finally facing real consequences in a space where excuses don't fly. And the double standards in how the media responded only fueled his fire. Rogan didn't just take aim at Whoopi, he took on the entire media ecosystem that rushed to her defense. Despite Elon Musk filing a lawsuit and presenting evidence of real financial harm, many outlets twisted the narrative to make Whoopi look like the victim. They downplayed her comments, painted the backlash as an overreaction, and leaned into the idea that she simply misspoke. Joe Rogan wasn't having it. He called out the blatant double standard. If a conservative figure had gone on air and made baseless, damaging claims about a liberal public figure, the media would have ripped them apart. There would have been outrage, nonstop coverage, demands for accountability. But because it was Whoopi and because her narrative aligned with anti-Elon, anti-billionaire sentiments, she got a pass. This, Rogan argued, is where credibility dies. When truth becomes secondary to ideology, and when public figures are protected not because they're right, but because they fit a preferred narrative, the entire system breaks down. He wasn't just talking about one lawsuit anymore. He was talking about a media culture that picks sides, buries facts, and shields its own. And to drive that point home, he went back in time to remind everyone of who Whoopi used to be. To expose just how dramatically Whoopi Goldberg's public stance had shifted, Joe Rogan brought out the receipts' actual footage from years past that painted a very different picture of the View host. He played clips from the early 2000s when Donald Trump was a frequent guest on the show. Whoopi, along with the rest of the panel, treated him like a beloved celebrity. She greeted him warmly, called him a friend, and even gave him hugs on air. The tone was friendly, even celebratory. The audience cheered, the panel smiled. There was no sign of the animosity that dominates the conversation today. Rogan's point was direct. What changed? Not Trump, not his personality or his past. What changed was the political climate and the narrative that media figures like Whoopi chose to embrace. He argued that her shift wasn't rooted in principle, but in political convenience. Once Trump became a serious presidential candidate, and even more so once he won, the same people who once praised him flipped the script. Rogan accused Whoopi of rewriting her own history to fit the new cultural narrative, and he challenged viewers to ask themselves a hard question. Is this really about truth or just about staying on the right side of the agenda? And just when it seemed like things couldn't spiral further, Rogan brought the conversation back to The View's present-day rhetoric where things had gone from partisan to downright unhinged. He highlighted one of Whoopi's more recent on-air claims, that President Biden could, if he wanted to, throw every Republican in jail. Let that sink in. According to Rogan, this wasn't just an outrageous hypothetical, it was dangerous. It revealed the kind of thinking that strips away nuance, turns political opponents into enemies, and treats raw power as a tool for revenge. He warned that when influential figures casually toss out extreme ideas like that on national television, it normalizes radical thinking and fuels division. Rogan used this as a defining moment, not just in Whoopi's credibility, but in what The View has become. He said the show had crossed the line from spirited debate into reckless ideology. And more than that, he exposed how the platform had morphed into an echo chamber that celebrates emotional outbursts over factual discourse. This wasn't about politics anymore, it was about sanity, accountability, and understanding how celebrity influence, left unchecked, can poison the public conversation in ways we're only beginning to see. As Rogan continued, he reminded everyone that Whoopi's transformation wasn't just about her political flip-flop or wild accusation sit, was about a deeper issue of unchecked celebrity power. He pointed out that stars like Whoopi often operate under the belief that their fame makes them untouchable, that they can say whatever they want, push whatever narrative they choose, and walk away without consequence. But this time, things were different. Elon Musk's legal team wasn't just filing paperwork, they were building a serious case. Financial records were being pulled, witness testimonies were being collected, expert opinions were being lined up to prove that Whoopi's comments weren't just false, they were malicious, damaging, and strategically reckless. This wasn't a PR stunt. It was a real legal offensive, and if the court ruled in Musk's favor, the fallout would be massive. We're talking a potential televised apology, millions of dollars in damages, and yes, 7, the possibility of Whoopi stepping down from The View entirely. Even if she somehow avoided that level of punishment, the damage was already done. Her credibility had taken a massive hit. And Rogan wasn't shy about saying it. This was no longer about cancel culture. This was about consequences. In his final remarks on the matter, Joe Rogan widened the lens and took aim at the system itself, the media, the networks, and the entire machine that allows celebrities and commentators to operate without checks or standards. He asked a question that struck at the heart of the issue. If you're using your platform to shape public opinion, shouldn't you be held to the same level of accountability as journalists? Rogan made it clear being on television doesn't grant immunity from truth. Just because a person sits on a talk show couch instead of behind a news desk doesn't mean they can twist facts or hurl baseless accusations without consequence. And yet, time and again, high-profile figures like Whoopi Goldberg have done just that, protected by the very platforms that should be holding them accountable. He directly challenged ABC News, questioning how a show with the reach and influence of The View could allow such explosive claims to air without fact-checking, without editorial oversight, without any form of responsibility. Because this story isn't just about Whoopi or Elon. It's about how far we've allowed entertainment to replace journalism. And now, the courtroom is watching. The audience is watching. The world is watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to this channel. Also, drop your thoughts in the comments. See you on the next one.